Hey, pal, how about a beer?
Hey, put that on my tab. That was quite a show you put on today, Gilmore. You were the talk of the tournament.
Wow, thanks a lot.
Yeah, well, you really crushed that ball off the tee, I'll tell you what. You know, you'd be something in one of those long drive contests. Yeah, you could probably get a very good living, traveling around, hustling at driving ranges. Thanks, Phil.
That's, you know, I know what you're doing right now, and I don't like it. So why don't you just shut your trap before I put my foot in it?
Don't turn your back on me. Let's get one thing straight. This is Shooter's tour. I've worked hard my whole life, paid my dues, and now it's Shooter's turn. And Shooter's not about to let his reign at the top be spoiled by some freak, sideshow clown.
Did you just call me a freak? I was on this tour for one reason, money. But now I got a new reason, kicking your ass.
Well, I'd like to see you try. Let's do it. Hey, I'm on a golf course.
Hey, what is going on here, huh?
Oh, I was just looking for the other half of this bottle, and oh, there's some of it right there's some right there too.
Why don't you just put it down?
Yeah, I know.
Just stay out of my way, or you'll pay. Listen to what I say.
How about I just go eat some hay? I can make things out of clay and lay by the bay. I just may. What do you say?
It's Two Dads, One Movie. It's the podcast where two middle-aged dads sit around and shoot the shit about the movies of the 80s and 90s. Here are your hosts, Steve Paulo and Nick Brianna. Hello, everybody. It's Two Dads, One Movie. Welcome to another episode. I'm Steve.
And I'm Nick.
And today we are talking about the 1996 Adam Sandler vehicle, Happy Gilmore.
All right.
I'm super excited to talk about Happy Gilmore. One of the reasons that we're doing Happy Gilmore is that if you are listening, if today is the day this episode came out, then guess what? 2 days from now, Happy Gilmore 2 comes out. So you can listen to our show, maybe rewatch Happy Gilmore if you haven't already leading up to this, and then get ready for the sequel, which, you know, I'm just hoping doesn't suck horribly.
Yeah, our standards are kind of low for sequels, like for us to not hate them and just like stay above that.
Just, a little fan service is wonderful.
Yeah.
You know, reference the original material, of course, but give us like something reasonable new.
Something new. Don't be that Sopranos movie or anything like that.
We will worry about that later, though. Today we're going to talk about the original. We're going to talk about the hockey player who couldn't skate, who had to turn to golf. So this was my pick. I'll just real quick, like Happy Gilmore, I think for Nick and I talked about this earlier, for guys our age, you know, I was 16 when this came out, you know, in the mid 90s, teenage boys couldn't not love Adam Sandler, right? We all watched him on Saturday Night Live. And then, you know, as he broke into the world of film with Billy Madison and this and Waterboy and, you know, The Wedding Singer, so many movies, you know, the guy really kind of ruled comedy in the 90s, you know,
Absolutely.
Much the way Will Ferrell would do so a decade later in the early 2000s. Adam Sandler, this was his time in so many ways. And so this was just a movie I watched a ton. I'm sure I saw it the day it came out, or the opening weekend kind of movie. Watched it, you know, I probably owned this on VHS and on DVD, and then later on digitally and everything, and just watched it a ton. I've probably seen this movie 50 or 60 times.
Wow.
Honestly. Yeah.
Yeah. This is a good one. And, you know, we're the same age. We grew up in the same town. Like, we have the same experience with this. We probably at one point, maybe Steve and I grabbed for the same copy of Happy Gilmore on the Blockbuster shelves, you know.
The one on Crow Canyon Road.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I watched this, you know, in high school, college. Someone always had it on VHS. It was a great one to throw in because you could watch like any chunk of this movie and enjoy it, basically.
Yeah.
Eminently quotable. I mean, there's so much that comes from this that if you don't watch it all the time, you realize things that you and your friends say in everyday life that have just become part of your regular vocabulary, and you realize, oh, that's from this.
Yeah.
You know, the way that we all say this thing originated from this movie. And it was very influential. I remember I had a streak because I love Billy Madison.
Sure.
And I had a time where I thought, you know, oh, like Happy, he kind of like, it got worse after Billy Madison.
Okay.
Because Billy Madison is so like off the wall and like weirdly dark in certain areas that I think is very funny. But watching this, I'm like, this has a lot of it. This is just kind of the, hey, I want more people to watch my stuff elevation of Billy Madison. You know?
Madison was so absurdist in its comedy, which is great. I mean, that's you and I are both Tim Robinson fans, and we love absurdism. But, you know, this was clearly a reach for Adam, not a reach, but like it was an attempt by Sandler to do something a little more mainstream, that would be a little more popular, like overall, obviously tying it to a very popular sport and everything, that helps. But it's still Adam Sandler, and it's still goofy in the right ways, and it's still dark in a few places for sure.
Yep.
And, it definitely still hits those notes, and it feels very authentic. I think, you have to get a ways through Adam Sandler's career to get to where he has that bad lull of like, I am absolutely going to phone in a bunch of bullshit movies like Couples Retreat and stuff like that. The beginning was very honestly him. And I think very recently in the films he's done, they're very honestly him in such a different ways. I mean, Uncut Gems compared to like Happy Gilmore.
So
but it's still very honestly him. It's more of his Punch Drunk Love, sort of world. Right. And so, let's stick with, this is early Sandler. This is sort of goofy Sandler. I think he was 30 when he made this movie. This is Adam Sandler.
Such a fun one.
Absolutely.
Well, you got some facts for us about Happy Gilmore here.
I do indeed. So this came out right around Valentine's Day, actually, as it turns out, February 16th, 1996, with a PG-13 rating. Happy Gilmore has a running time of 92 minutes. It was directed by Dennis Dugan, written by the writing team of Tim Herlihy and Adam Sandler, who wrote a lot of these Sandler vehicles.
Very nice.
Starring Adam Sandler, Christopher McDonald, and Julie Bowen. Scores, Rotten Tomatoes. The critics give this 63%, which I think is fairly respectable. It is a fresh score. You wouldn't expect super high marks for Happy Gilmore. On IMDb, a solid 7.0. This is clearly something that fans are fun, enjoy quite a bit. The movie did win an award. In the 1996, and by this time they were calling them the MTV Movie and TV Awards.
Okay.
Basically the successor to the MTV Movie Awards. This movie won Best Fight between Adam Sandler and Bob Barker.
Hey, well deserved, I think. This was a good one.
Absolutely. On a $12 million budget, the film took in $41.4 million at the box office for a 3.5x. It's right on that borderline between, was it just a success or was it a blockbuster? And it's sort of right in between those two. And then those are the facts. Those are the facts about Happy Gilmore.
Okay. Well, this one, I love this intro. Maybe Steve, you could take us through how this movie starts off, because this hammers you right away with so much funny stuff.
It really is fantastic. It starts off and it's almost like old, Super 8 film. It actually, even in the screen, it kind of cuts piece of the screen out, so we're not getting the full, visual effect of like if we were in the movie theater, for instance. And it's a voiceover from Happy, and he's kind of telling us about his childhood while Lynyrd Skynyrd's Tuesday's Gone plays in the background.
Good choice.
Fantastic song. It's an instrumental version. There's no lyrics, but it's this great backstory telling us all about how much Happy's dad loved hockey and took him to see hockey and taught him how to play hockey, even though he never quite figured out how to skate. I don't know how anybody could do as much hockey as Happy obviously did without ever learning to skate, but that's okay. But he loved hockey so much, but Happy's dad did, that Happy's mom left and just left them both. And so then he is alone with his dad, but his dad keeps taking him to games until one day Slapshot comes off the ice and goes right at Happy's dad and apparently takes him out.
Yeah, it just shows the shot coming towards him, and then it just goes to after the funeral.
Yeah, right, exactly. It's like, so Happy has to go live with his grandma, who he was nervous to go see because he didn't really know her very well, wasn't really familiar with her. But she makes him feel better by wearing, he says dressing up like Gene Simmons from Kiss, although it is just the mask with the ridiculously long tongue. She's not wearing the boots or the get up, the cape or anything else. But, she does try to make him feel at home, and we get a sense obviously right away that, Granny is awesome.
Yeah.
Happy's grandma's
for sure.
amazing. And so there's that, and then he gives us a little bit, kind of since then. He mentions, of course, playing junior hockey when he was in high school, where he has 2 records. It doesn't say if they're like state or world or what, but they're records of penalty minutes. The guy is obviously getting in a lot of trouble, and he's the only guy to ever take off his skate and try to stab somebody with it, which
so
you gotta hold on to what you can.
So there's a scene there where it's showing kind of a shaggy haired teenage Adam Sandler,
killer
Happy Gilmore, really looking good. And they're getting in for their team photo for their junior hockey thing, and he can't skate, and he like falls so badly that he knocks the little sign that's in front of them to like say the name of the team over there. And the look on his face, like the furious like huffing and puffing, and he's so mad look on his face in the picture is that's what Adam Sandler does. He does this like cartoonish anger so much better than everyone. So I really love that.
It's absolutely fantastic. So it's a great. So then he tells us about some jobs that he's had. You know, basically he hasn't worked a lot of like legit career since high school. He's been, and in every one of his jobs he has something nearby that he can stick between his legs and thrust like his penis. I'm gonna thrust my, including the nightstick when he's a security guard, he puts right up to his, you know, this is an HR violation, he puts it right up to his coworker's face, and it's just, I don't care if it's not actually your Johnson, that's not good, not a good idea.
But he's a janitor, so he uses the mop. He's a construction worker, he uses one of those road cone things. Security guy, he worked at a gas station, and he sticks the the pump between his legs and sprays it out, which is really funny.
Real dangerous. Come on, Happy. That's the gasoline.
But all those hit very well. All that, like, so it's like laugh before you're into any of the real action of the movie.
Absolutely. And then the last one, he says he works construction, was sort of the last thing he did. And he it shows him sort of like doing a shooting exhibition for his coworkers with the nail gun, knocking beer cans off this ledge until Mr. Larson, his foreman, walks by.
Yes.
And of course, Mr. Larson is played by the wonderful Richard Kiel, who played Jaws in the James Bond film Moonraker, and who stands 7'2". So he is quite a bit. So, you know, where they had the cans was actually pretty reasonably placed. Most human beings are walking by and it's way above their heads.
Yeah, you're not worried about that.
Mr. Larson, he takes a nail into the helmet, which we'll get into that later. He does take a nail into his hard hat, and which Happy gets into a fight and gets hospitalized. And this is all still in the flashback.
Yeah,
you know, this is none of this.
So we're
is
still
like
it's spliced together like kind of home video type.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, but that's I think that kind of brings us up, right? Is that the last little bit.
Yeah. So really funny intro, and the music, it was just the perfect blend, because it was just like kind of the beginning of the Wonder Years, this nostalgic montage of home video footage, but every single chunk of it had a joke to it. It was very funny.
Very dense.
And now we're brought to present day, and they're doing tryouts for the local, I don't know, junior league, semi-pro hockey team, whatever
like semi-pro, because he's now in his 30s. They even say, is that Gilmore again? How many times has he tried out? This is like the 10th time. So you know, he's like 30 because he's been trying out every year since he was like 19 or 20 years old. So I love this moment. There's this moment where he is you're not able to skate. The two coaches are talking. They're looking at him, at the whole team through the glass, and saying like, he's not a very good skater. Oh yeah, but what a shot. You know, and Happy winds up and just slap shot so hard that it actually, he misses the goal, but it shatters the glass in front of the coaches, and they're just so impressed. But like, obviously, you know, he not only is he not skate, apparently can't aim very well either.
Right.
What I love though is that when they cut back to the coaches, a 1/10 of a second later, the glass is back in front of him. You can see the reflection of the rest of the ice.
That's how quick they replaced that.
That's very fast, very fast.
So Happy, despite his impressive slap shot and, you know, demonstrating that he would be the worst teammate, skater, everything else, you know, but he doesn't get called. So out of 28 guys that auditioned for this team, 26 of them
it looked like maybe 3 guys don't get picked.
So Happy doesn't get in. He's pissed, and you know,
he's a sad man. So
so he's had a bad day, and he's coming back to his apartment and kind of crosses paths with his girlfriend in the elevator. And he's just kind of like, hey, like, I had a really bad day. What's going on? She's like, nothing. You're a loser.
Bye.
Basically, like, I'm out of here. And she leaves him. So on top of not making the team after his 10th attempt, when I'm sure he thought he was going to make it, and now his girlfriend is out of there. And a very funny scene where he's at the intercom talking to the front door as she's walking out, trying to catch her. Wait. And she hears him, and they're kind of talking a little back and forth. And he keeps, you know, apologizing, then getting mad again, and then apologizing for getting mad. And it's a great scene.
Funny, but also for anyone listening, big red flag if someone you're in a relationship with is yelling at you and then apologizing and then yelling at you. That is an abusive mentality. Watch out.
No, it's and he has this behavior the whole way, and it doesn't seem to bother other people later in the movie, which is like, I don't. But he ends up trying to serenade her, and he's singing this song into
the night closes in, or whatever.
and it shows like this little kid standing outside, kind of like looking at it. The girlfriend's gone
while he's licking the intercom. And so you can
he's
hear
doing
the
some
mouth
real like
sounds.
gross stuff.
Licking the intercom that is nasty behavior.
At least he's just licking the one that's in his apartment, not the public one. But
that's a rental though, man. He doesn't own that place.
Right. And then you kind of see this like older Asian woman like standing there. And then there's a knock at his door, and he's like, oh, good. She came back.
Yeah.
And he opens the door, and she's standing there.
Yeah.
And he's just kind of like, what? When he gets up in the morning, I think he gets a phone call
Right.
from his grandmother.
He answers the phone. He has to get dressed real quick. He just throws his boots on real quick and heads out the door. And we're left very funny, just very quick moment of that same elderly Asian woman from the night before who's clearly had a shower and is wearing one of his hockey jerseys.
Yes.
Comes out of the kitchen. Hey, you don't want breakfast? Like,
So good. And that's classic Sandler, Billy Madison kind of like
Yep.
goofball humor where it's just,
it's also the joke cut setup.
Yes.
Right, where you put the joke right before you cut to the next scene. Like
Yeah.
there's no response to the joke. The joke is just done, and then we've moved on. So
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
do blink, you might miss it.
He goes to his grandmother's house. He sees that there are these guys like moving her stuff out of
Right.
the house. And he comes to find out after talking to them that grandma is basically getting booted from her house. Her
Right.
house is going to go to auction in, is it 30 days?
90
or
days. 90 days. Yeah.
And because she owes $270,000 in taxes to the IRS.
To the IRS. Federal
And
income tax.
Federal income
Yes.
tax to the IRS. And it says that she hasn't paid her taxes in 10 years. And he asks, well, Grandma, why didn't you pay your taxes? She said, because I didn't have any money.
Right.
This is where we got to come in here, all right?
So, listener, just so in case you're not aware, my co-host Nick is a professional tax accountant. Go ahead, Nick.
So, look, as much as people would like to tell you otherwise, you're only assessed income tax when you're earning income.
Right.
So it means that if she has this $270,000 in tax due, then she would have like some multiple of that associated, of income. And I went through the tax rate tables, just assuming this went from like 1985 to 1994, where she wasn't paying her taxes,
Okay.
and figured out like approximately what she would make each year to accrue 27 grand in
Per
taxes.
year, yeah.
I know there's penalties and interest and all this stuff. I feel like this guy would have said plus penalties or I don't know. Anyway, she would have earned over this 10-year period just shy of $1 million, like
Wow.
$990,000.
Over 100 grand, almost 100 grand a year.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
In living in Connecticut in the
Right.
80s and 90s,
In
right?
a big
a house that grandpa built
Right.
with his own hands.
So
So she has
property
no
taxes,
mortgage.
but no mortgage. You gotta pay
Property taxes are,
yeah.
I don't know what their Prop 19 type situation
Right.
is in Connecticut, but even if it's being reassessed at fair value every year and the house is worth 270 grand or 300 grand, her property taxes are like 5 or 6 grand a year at
Right.
like the high end.
Yeah, yeah.
So grandma either somehow managed to work for a startup and only get stock options every year that she was taxed on under W-2, and then the value went to zero the next year and she wasn't able to,
Which wouldn't be
take any kind
options.
of
That would have
loss.
to be restricted stock
Or
units.
RSUs,
Yeah.
Or she has some kind of secret problem, maybe this like happy place that we're shown later where she's winning all this money on
Oh,
a
the
slot
slot
machine.
machine.
The reason he envisions it is because all he remembers is his grandma pumping money into slot machines and nothing coming out.
The constant sound of
Yeah.
like the dials in the slot machine going just haunts his dreams,
Yeah,
and it's very
exactly.
subconscious for him. That's possible.
So I would say that it's near, forget about the fact that the IRS, A, is not going to wait 10 years to act on something
Right.
like this. B, is probably not going to take your primary residence out from under you. You
Right.
can always work out a deal with them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't understand how this worked. If she was earning income in some way she didn't know, like investment income, there would be underlying assets to sell. She wouldn't
Yeah.
have to sell her house. So
Interesting.
I call bullshit on this.
They're not even giving her the option to sell it. They're just repossessing it and then auctioning it themselves.
which
It's not
is
even
also
like,
weird because
Yeah,
she should have a
exactly.
chance to
sell
sell
it.
it for the and then
Yeah.
give them the proceeds.
Exactly. And hopefully for her sake, sell it for more than.
Yeah.
And then have some profit to live off of then, right? It's all very strange.
Right. So that's my little tax aside. We can you can stop fast forwarding now.
Yeah, exactly. Come back to us, everybody. But yeah, I thank you for that. I did actually wonder about that and thought you would be the right person to ask, Nick. So the other thing I want to mention, so Will Sasso of Mad TV fame is one of the two movers that is pulling stuff out
Yes.
of Grandma's house. Love
Yes.
Will, very funny guy. But when Happy first shows up, he runs into the house and the two movers are trying to carry a couch and he like jumps
I
on it,
love that.
right, to keep them from like, at which point the other, not Will Sasso, the other mover goes, so like, hey kid, come on. And I'm like, kid? He's like a receding hairline to 30-year-old. Why are we calling him kid? There's a couple times when people in this movie call him kid. And I never noticed it before, I think because I watched it as a kid originally and it just kind of always flew past me.
Right.
Like, why would you refer to this grown man as kid?
That's super funny because
Especially
he's not
they-
older than those
no,
guys.
those guys also look like they're like late 20s to early 30s
Yeah.
ballpark, right?
Yeah.
Like it's very strange.
So grandma's going to have to get move to a nursing home while these movers are there, right?
She has no money. He has no money. She has this tax bill. Nobody's got any money. Who's paying for her to live in a retirement home?
They have retirement homes that you could live in off like Medicare that would take, and they suck.
And
I mean, this is like
suck,
an accurate, like this is like where Abe Simpson is.
Good to know, but scary.
Yeah. So they definitely have them, but and you know what? It wasn't as commoditized back then as it is now, so it wasn't common that everyone's paying $12,000 a month to live in like something that smells like pee.
My uncle is in a place that is not cheap, but
this is a lot of my job is helping people with that stuff. So yeah, but she's in this nursing home, and it's kind of, you know, the free one or the cheap one, so it's very shady. And we get treated to her, I guess, the attendant there, one of the nurses or whatever. Ben
Happy
Stiller
refers to him as an orderly, but yeah, Ben Stiller plays Hal, the evil
Hal
orderly.
L.
Hal L.
Yeah.
Which is it supposed to be like a hell
yeah,
reference,
I think
I guess?
so. Because he's like, you're in my world now, and he points to his name tag.
Thought maybe it was an Islamophobic thing, like it's halal or something, but maybe not.
It might be though. So Happy drops his grandma at this place. He's like, hey, tells the orderly, Ben Stiller, I want you to take good care of her, and tries to bribe him with the $1 bill. And he's like, hey, you know, put that away. Like, I'm going to take good care of her for free. And then the second he leaves, grandma says to Hal, like, could I trouble you for a glass of water? And this is one of our best lines. He's like, you could trouble me for a glass of shut the hell up.
You're in my world now, Granny.
So good. So good.
Yeah, he turns immediately. The second Happy leaves the room, he is like, just flips on the evil for sure.
Yep. So then Happy's back at the house, and the movers are taking a break and hitting some golf balls loose into a neighborhood.
Right, which then looked like with Happy's grandpa's clubs, right? Because it's the same clubs used later. So like they found them in the act of moving things out of the house or taking it away and decided, to take a break and just hit a ball. And Sasso's the one to actually hit initially. And I'm terrible at golf. I want to say this. Every time I watch a movie or a TV show or watch golf on TV, as soon as I see the golf course, I think I was like, God, this looks amazing. This looks like I would love doing this. You know, we're watching the show Stick on Apple TV right now, and it's about golf as well. And it's just like, oh my gosh. And then every time I get out on a golf course or a driving range or anywhere besides mini golf, I hate it. I can't swing right. I don't hit the thing, like whatever. And I still look better than Will Sasso taking this shot. Like he
can do an impression of everything except for a golfer.
Oh my God. It was just the ugliest sort of swing. It was just the most, and of course, it goes 5 feet in front of him. The old joke, he didn't get past the ladies' tees, right? You know, kind of thing. And yet he still, you know, when Happy makes fun of him, goes, oh, you know, if you hit your ball past mine, we'll go right back to work. You know, you can watch your stupid hockey game or whatever. And it's like, buddy, you know, you could use a pool cue and hit it further than that ball went. Like that wouldn't even be difficult. But of course, Happy does not use a pool cue. He uses a driver, and he does not just hit it past Will Sasso's ball. He hits it like 400 yards down the street. And breaks a window of this house that, it's like 400 yards. And it really is probably even further than that, really, the way that the fly cam sort of follows the path of the ball. Looks like a lot further than that, but that's okay. It's movie magic. But yeah, he does one, breaks a window. The other mover says, oh man, no way, the beginner's luck, no way you could do that again, $20 you can't do it again. So he does it again, and he hits the homeowner who's come outside the front door looking for like what happened to his window. And then it's like, one more time, double or nothing. And this time he hits the lady who is looking through what had been the shattered window, and then is hit with the golf ball and falls out the window and rolls down her roof onto the ground, potentially causing really serious damage, if not death. So Happy may have killed somebody here. We're not 100% sure.
Hey, great job. This is a good Sandler thing of like raising the stakes in a joke and like making it like dark at the end, in addition to being like, you know, more is happening. So really funny. And he's like, okay, like pay up, let's get back to work. And then he realizes like, oh, I just made a little cash hitting a golf ball. Let me see what I can do. And he goes to the driving range.
At the Waterbury Country Club or whatever.
And he's there and he says, all right, step right up. Come see if you can outdrive the amazing golf ball hitter guy.
It's the golf ball
whacker guy. Whacker is,
but he says important. He does say outdrive, so he knows that it's called like a drive or using a driver, and yet he goes golf ball whacker guy. Oh my God. And so he you know hits it, and then a few you know spaces down on the driving range from where Happy is one of our sort of supporting stars of this film, kind of the first of the maybe 4 biggest characters in the movie that we're being introduced to besides Happy, which is Chubbs.
Yes.
Chubbs Peterson, played by the incomparable Carl Weathers. And he is like coaching or whatever this woman, middle-aged woman, who's doing worse than Will Sasso,
Terrible.
frankly, just can't even hit the ball. And all he's sitting there reading Golf Digest going, that's good. Good job. Keep going. But he hears, and he hears the drive Happy hits. He sees how far the ball goes and his eyes light up and he's like, oh boy, this guy's got something. So when he first stands up, he is keeping his hands behind his back, and he really has to, because this is the 3rd movie we've watched where someone is missing part of an arm or hand or whatever, right? We had The Fugitive with the one-armed man. We had Army of Darkness with Ash. Replacing his hand. And now Chubbs Peterson's missing his hand. But God, the makeup wardrobe work on him is not good. His arm is so long that he really, to Carl Weathers' credit, he spends most of the time when he's standing holding his hands behind his back, which is like a fairly natural looking pose for a guy like him, a guy with a little gravitas to him and everything. But it's like, if he didn't, it's just the times when we see both his hands and both his arms is that it is ludicrously long. I almost want to believe, and I don't know if this is true or not, I want to believe that they looked at the situation of what they were trying to do, tried a couple times to get it to look as natural as possible, realized that wasn't possible, and went, all right, make it longer.
Funny that it's
make
long.
it longer.
Yes, 100%. Because where he's poking him in the chest, talking to him, it seems like it's a foot longer than it should be. And I would see the same thing if they're watching this in the edit bay or whatever. They're like, this is so funny. Like it should look as long as possible.
Can we make it longer? Like Dennis Dugan's like, I don't think it's long enough. Let's do it longer. But it really is so crazy long. And so he's talking to Happy and he's like trying to convince him. He's like, man, if you work with me, there's this tournament tomorrow, the Waterbury Open. If you win it, you're on the Pro Tour, which, like, I don't really think that's a thing that happens, but I don't know golf that well. So maybe, but you should do this because you could make the big bucks or whatever. But initially he's like, I'm not going to do this. I'm a hockey player. He goes into a batting cage to just take baseballs off the sternum, which there's no sign that says how fast those balls are going, but they look pretty quick. This is not like a slow pitch softball cage. That would break bones. That's not you're not walking
taking repeated hits and you're squaring up
to
like
the
that.
Head to the chest. So Happy should be dead. That should be the second death in the film. Doesn't happen. But yeah, so Chubbs is trying to convince him, like, hey man, you got something special. Nobody can hit the ball like you can. This is crazy. Like, you should really take advantage of this. He's like, I'm not a golfer. You got to wear stupid clothes and da-da-da. Like, I'm a hockey player, and he starts sort of hitting like empty soda cans, right, to like just practice his hockey play. And Chubbs is gesticulating wildly, talking to him, at which point Happy rails off a slap shot that hits Chubbs' hand, unfortunately, knocks it off of however it's supposed to be attached to his missing hand area, to his wrist, and it flies into the street, to which Chubbs says, no, don't worry about it.
It's wood. It's real strong.
Real sturdy, made of wood. And then the garbage truck or whatever, the big rig or whatever comes over and just crushes it. And the way Happy goes to say goodbye to Chubbs and goes to shake his like missing hand.
Yes.
So funny. He's like, okay. So good.
So great. Yeah. And so then Happy agrees, like, all right, well, I'm going to try the Waterbury Open, and he shows up to it.
Yes.
And as he's there and he kind of sees people arriving, he sees this limo go by. This is a part that I don't know why always stuck with us, but in college we had this kind of obsession with Burt Reynolds, and mostly like with his bad movies, like his mid 80s, like low budget, like Heat, Stick, Malone, like all these things that he did. Yeah. White Lightning, all that stuff. And we had to the point where we would have Burt Day. Okay. So we would have like a day where we're doing all Burt Reynolds movies. But somebody said, well, we can watch Happy Gilmore because the limo, he's in the limo. Because Happy Gilmore says, oh, look, that limo must be Burt Reynolds or something. The limo, of course, is the star of the show, kind of the biggest name who's showing up to this Waterbury Open, Shooter McGavin, who's like one of the rising stars or one of the better pro golfers.
Yeah, the indication here is that he's somebody who's been on the tour a long time. They refer to him for the current season or whatever as like the top money earner or whatever on the tour right now. But we do learn a little later, but he has not won the big tournament yet. Like he's not won the PGA, they don't call it the PGA, it's the Tour Championship. They're very careful not to refer to the PGA or the Masters or anything else. Or
specific locations.
Yeah, there are a couple references to locations that are clearly incorrect, but other than that, so Shooter's here, he's there. I guess it's sort of PR for this because the winner of this Waterbury Open tournament gets to join the tour. I think he's there as sort of like a goodwill ambassador from the pro golfers. He says he does a
you'll
little
be my
speech.
colleague. One person's going to be my coworker. Or whatever after this.
It's only one of you gets to be my colleague. All of you are now my friend. But yeah,
perfect. He's like just perfect kind of sleazebag, like politician delivery on this stuff.
Christopher McDonald is, first off, just across the board, an underrated comedic actor. Like, I don't care how much you like Christopher McDonald, you should like him more. Like, there's that, right? But
you hear that, Christopher McDonald's mom?
That's right. Hey, Chris, if you ever want to come on the pod, just let me know, man.
Hey, hit it up, man.
The show at 2dadsOneMovie.com. That's the number 2 and the number 1. So he, this role in particular, he's just so well suited for. There's some times where guys, and it's not a role they wrote for themselves or anything like that, but they're just put in something, cast in something where it's just, God, that is so perfect. And he, like you said, it's like it's a politician thing. It's sort of this smarmy rich guy thing. There's like, you can tell he's got a media coach. You know what I mean? There's this like all this stuff going on, and he plays the role so well and just the right level of smarmy shitbagness.
Right.
It's glorious. It really is wonderful. Shooter is one of the best characters, not just in this movie, but in 90s comedies.
Yeah, he's great. And you see him kind of becoming unhinged. Like he's in full control of everything except for his reaction to this guy who might be a threat to like the attention he's getting.
Yeah.
And really, really funny.
Yeah.
So we're introduced to the kind of, I don't know, she's a coordinator or like a player liaison for the tour. What
she's
would Virginia's
marketing or
job
public
be?
relations, I think she was. They referred to her as like the public relations director for the tour. Yeah.
Oh, and this is Julie Bowen, who's Virginia Vennet.
Right, exactly. Which we'll stop for a second to mention.
Yeah.
Something about Adam Sandler writing characters that are the love interest for his character who have the initials VV. Because Veronica Vaughn was the love interest in Billy Madison. Vicky Valancourt was the love interest in The Waterboy. I'm sure there are more, but yes, this is Virginia Vennet, which is kind of a funky last name. You don't see Vennet.
Not a lot
often.
of Vennets out there.
Exactly. Let me see. I think there was at least one more. Oh yeah, in Little Nicky, the love interest is Valerie Varon, and then Hubie Halloween, it was Violet Valentine, also played by Bowen.
Okay.
So yeah, the dude really digs the VV name structure for the love interest.
Yeah, everyone's got to have a thing. And and Julie Bowen, this is a very early appearance of hers.
Yes.
I mean, she became like a big star with Modern Family after this. So she's there and Happy's getting ready, and he's walking up with his clubs, and this kid comes up from behind him and grabs his clubs.
Right.
Like, hey, punk, where are you going with my clubs?
Which I get that this kid was like, he's like an amateur caddy at the club or whatever, but like he should know better than to just like
you
grab
don't just
the dude's
grab
clubs.
him.
But yes, this is his caddy. The club is assigned to caddy, and he's like, oh, okay, hey, just tell me make sure I'm not doing anything stupid, or just help me out.
Yes.
Like I can handle the rest of this. The clubs are old. I'll hold them. Just tell me if I'm doing anything stupid. So he stands there by the tee, and the guy, announcing the players, Mr. Lafferty is ready to tee off Mr. Gilmore, please, So he stands there, get out of the way. Oh, sorry, walks over. And I love this line. He walks over to the caddy and goes, where were you on that one, dipshit?
This is one of those lines that we say all the time, and you don't necessarily think of where it was. But God, it's so perfect.
Yep. Specifically, where were you on that one, dipshit?
It's really good. His first tee shot, right? And he really impresses them, right?
Yes.
Absolutely crushes it. And it's a par 4 where normally in golf, you're not going to hit the green on a par 4.
No.
Right? Traditionally, like something that's a par 3, 250 yards or less, 300 yards or less, you might hit the green. That's really tough too.
Yeah.
And he's unprecedented with how hard he's hitting his tee shots here.
Absolutely.
So this kicks it off, but also at the same time, he cannot putt.
No, he has to try to putt. And he's on the green in 1, which, like you said, for par 4 is like insane. On the green in 2 is really good pro level, right?
Yeah.
So it's insane that he's on the green in 1, and then but he has to 5 putt, I think, to get there. I mean, it's real bad. It's real hard to watch.
And as he's putting, and he's different looking than all the other golfers. Everyone's wearing the traditional golf outfit. He's got his Bruins jersey on,
the hockey
and
jersey.
He's going through his putt. He misses a putt terribly. One of the guys comments to another one, "Is this guy kidding?"
Yeah,
and he's
real?
going through and saying like, "Oh, this is pathetic." And then finally, Happy sinks his putt, and the guy goes, oh, it's about time to this other guy. And Happy like turns and marches over to him. He's like, yeah, it was about time, wasn't it? I wanted it to go in, but it just wouldn't. And then he pulls his shirt over his head and punches him like a hockey fight,
exactly.
which is great.
Perfect hockey fight move. Like they literally, hockey jerseys have these straps inside and the back that you put around your belt, on your pants, to keep people from being able to pull your jersey over your head like that, because it holds your arms down. So yeah, he does the classic hockey fight move, knocks the guy out. There was a point where he starts putting at one point, and he's obviously just frustrated, he's not doing well, and Chubbs calls out time. And he goes up to like talk to, and I'm like, time? Like what? There's no clock in golf. You don't have to call time out. Like, I mean, maybe there is like an unspoken clock of like how long you can take between, but it's not instantaneous. Like you can take time to like, whatever. But he goes, and that's when Chubbs does the like, come on, baby, you got to relax. It's all in the hips. It's all in the hips. And by the end of it, he's literally going, it's all in the hips. And he's kind of got a little lilt to his voice.
Good.
And Happy's like, get over here.
And he, Happy ends up getting a hole in one on one of the holes, which is on a par four. Again,
crazy.
Something that literally almost never happens, or maybe it has never happened, at least as far as anyone who's there has ever seen in their life.
Yeah.
There's almost no reaction from the crowd when he gets this hole in one. And I saw a video.
There's a cheer.
There's a cheer, but not people losing it the way that they would for something like that. We get a very good montage as he's kind of advancing in this tournament. We're showing the leaderboard, and House of Pain's Jump Around is playing as it's showing his various like victories and failures throughout this golf tournament. But it's really good.
And would you say that his name on the board jumps around from top
certainly
to bottom?
Does.
It jumps up and then gets down. Is that right? Okay. Just checking.
He hits his ball into the pond and ends up diving in after it. And then it's a very funny scene where he's underneath and he's looking at all the balls to see which one is his and finds the right one. I don't think that saves you any strokes, but
no,
it's still
good
visually.
Hitting a water hazard is still a 1-stroke penalty. And you still take a drop, but hey, that works. So he does end up just barely, like I think on the final hole, is able to win the Waterbury Open, and this is fantastic. And Virginia Vennet is immediately in love. Basically, she's already thinking about the PR and sort of the marketing campaign around a guy that can hit this far. And Shooter a little less excited, definitely not all that happy with the sort of, he was expecting a good amateur who would be no threat even to the attention of fans to join this. But this is clearly different. This guy's different. A hole in one in a par four is insane. It's the kind of thing you just never see. So he's not as excited, but boy, Virginia could not be happier that Happy
her
won.
job's going to be interesting now.
Exactly.
It seems like, she's a young person stuck in this like really stuffy world. So it's like, oh my God, something finally.
Yeah, exactly.
And then there's a post tournament reception kind of thing. And Happy's walking around with his trophy.
Yeah.
And I thought this was funny where we see Chubbs sitting there and he has the most like overpiled plate of food there.
Mountain of fruit.
Yes,
It's all fruit.
It's all like strawberries and stuff. But it makes me think of the great Carl Weathers' work later on in Arrested Development. And like, is this the same? Is he just like this in real life? So they add this stuff like, I could take these. I got a fruit salad going, baby.
Got it going, baby.
So Arrested Development made Carl Weathers so enjoyable to watch in every other context because of that. Because he's like so deeply funny, and he lived like in our town. He lived pretty close to where we live for a long time before he passed away. So I know a lot of people who have seen him. I've seen him just randomly at like the movie theater or whatever. So
and when you think about Carl Weathers, I always immediately think of like obviously Apollo Creed and then I can't remember the character's name right now, but Predator. Like those are the two things I think of like old Carl Weathers is like pretty serious roles in pretty serious movies.
Yeah.
But you see stuff like this and obviously his time on Arrested Development and it's just like, oh man, this guy has always been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it's like he played those serious roles because he's an actor and he's a serious, he's got chops. He can do it, but man, it seems like
funny.
Yeah. He would have been a lot of fun to hang out with, clearly.
For sure.
Give me prime Carl Weathers and prime Billy D. Williams. We're going to go hang out.
Ooh, hell yeah. That sounds like a time.
Absolutely.
Easy on the Colt 45 though. So now we're kind of back showing Grandma's situation at the old folks home, and they're all making quilts. And Hal L, Ben Stiller's character, is on the phone with someone, obviously saying, this is your order. Well, I can do it for 200 a pop. Well, we can get 50 more. And then hangs up the phone and says to all these poor old people that are sewing, it's like, good news, everybody. Arts and crafts time has been extended by 4 hours today.
This is some handmade quality shit right here. And he's got like the old Motorola StarTAC. I love that phone.
It's really
it was like
good.
So classic mid-90s cell phone.
So grandma's basically like slave labor at a quilt sweatshop.
Sweatshop, exactly. Well, this is obviously why it doesn't cost much money for her to live there. She's being put to work. Yeah. And then another poor old lady is just like, oh, my fingers hurt. And he's like, oh, do your fingers hurt? Well, now your back's going to hurt because you just pulled landscaping duty. Anybody else's fingers hurt? Didn't think so. Like, he is just so, this is such really clean good. Ben Stiller, evil character. I feel like years later, he would really dig into the character he played here for White Goodman in Dodgeball later on. It's very much a similar, like, just shitty person.
He is. I mean, he became and is now, a leading man, but with his sketch beginnings, like the Ben Stiller show was a really funny sketch show and stuff. So it's great to see him in these little roles. He really knocks it out of the park. Back at the reception. So we have Happy, and he kind of walks up on some of the pros there.
Yeah, he's on the tour now.
Oh, this is the reception before, like the night before the first tournament,
exactly,
right?
He's joining,
And he walks up to Shooter and some of the pros, and they're being like pretty cool to him. I think they're a little dismissive, but the other guys are at least like, it's just a guy.
Well, and the guy, he's like, hey, I heard you did a hole in one in a par 4. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, they're impressed. Like, at least that part of it is very impressive.
Right.
Yeah.
And Shooter, is a little bit shitty to him, but he says, hey, I'll tell you what, why don't you meet us on 9 p.m. at the 9th green? Little secret of the pros.
Right.
And, dress nice.
Yeah.
So
I love it too. Before that though, because Happy, I think very innocently, right? Because all the other pros that Shooter is talking to, they're all wearing their gold jackets, right? And of course, the gold jacket is of course a reference to the green jacket, which is in the real world what you earn by winning not the tour championship but the Masters.
Right.
It's a single tournament on a private golf course in Georgia, and it's one of the biggest tournaments of the golf year. And if you win at the Masters, you get a green jacket. That's like their thing. So they took that and they turned it into the gold jacket, and that you get it for winning the tour championship. So that's the thing. So these 3 other golfers that Shooter's talking to are all wearing their gold jackets. They've obviously won the tour championship at some point in their careers.
Yep.
You win it once, you wear it forever kind of thing, right? But he doesn't have his. And so, Happy notices like, oh, these guys he doesn't know what this gold jacket. He's a hockey fan. He doesn't know any of this.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, you're all wearing a gold jacket. Oh yeah, you get that for winning the tour championship. And he goes, where's yours? To Shooter. Shooter's like,
funny guy. Yeah. The way he reacts to that too is really good.
Oh my God. So good.
So Happy basically shows up to this 9th green, and the sprinklers go off on him. He's been pranked, and he's all pissed, and he tells Victoria, and she's like,
Virginia. Yeah.
Virginia. God damn it. I'll just say Vivi.
We can just say Julie Bowen too.
Yeah, that's true. I don't care. But basically, save it for the golf course.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, because he's like, hey, have you seen Shooter McGavin? She's like, no, not really. Why? Oh, I got to find him so I can kill him.
Yeah. So now we're at day 1 of the tournament,
right?
And Happy drives this old beater car. I don't know if it's like a Dodge Duster or Plymouth Duster or something awful like that. But it's something that during that time would have been considered just a big piece of crap. It was probably 25 years old, different colors paint. And he pulls up to the tournament, and there's a homeless guy who's like spraying his windshield, and like trying to wash his windshield, and Happy Gilmore is being nice to him.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, here you go. Thanks, man. Gives him a couple bucks.
Yeah.
The cops are trying to haul him away, and he's like, hey, he's just trying to earn some money. Like,
these are country club security guards. These aren't even cops.
Yeah.
But yes, they harass him and throw him out of there. Yeah.
So he goes up to register, and they say, like, where's your caddy? I don't have a caddy. I thought you guys would give me one. Oh, for the tour, you provide your own caddy.
Right.
And then in something that foreshadows the rest of Adam Sandler's life, he says, I get this fucking bum friend that I'll give a job to, like I do in all my movies.
Seriously?
So this guy is played by the actor, I think it's Alan Covert.
Sounds
and
right.
He's been in a bunch of his stuff. He was the main character in Grandma's Boy.
Right.
So he gave him a little star turn in that.
Right.
And he's not that in demand outside of the Sandlerverse. So I would say that it's a bit of a, whatever nepotism with Friends is. But
he's probably his best though, I think, was probably as the limo driver in The Wedding Singer. That was a good role.
He was better in that. Yeah. But it's kind of funny where it's like Sandler hires this guy off the street to do a job that maybe he's not qualified for, and it's very telling about the rest of his stuff. So I just wanted to point that out. I thought that was very funny.
Yeah, so he gets out to the first. So he goes back and he gets the bum that he found basically and brings him on to be his caddy. And he's paired up with Kevin Nealon. I don't even know the character's name, but it's Kevin Nealon. I love Kevin Nealon,
the best.
And he is clearly this like woo woo vibes, crystals, hippy dippy kind of guy or whatever. He talks about you got to harness the energy, block the bad. Harness energy, block bad. It's cyclical. It's cyclical. It's like a circle. It's like a merry-go-round. It goes around and round and up and down. And it's just like he sounds like with Tony Robbins, you know. It's like just trying to be like
a soft-spoken.
Oh my god, so funny. But like just he's so different from Happy, like completely
the exact opposite personality. And then Happy goes to tee off the first time, and I think it cuts to showing like the TV broadcast of him. And I think he misses.
He just misses the swing.
Just doesn't even hit the ball. And he's swearing and it's being bleeped out and he's throwing shit all over. He's losing his mind on the first swing of the first tournament.
Right. And now it's televised. Like the day before, or whatever, the week before when he played the Waterbury Open, like that was not on TV, so it didn't matter. Now it's televised, so it's a problem. I'll also say if they didn't bleep that and the many other scenes where they show us Happy through a monitor where he's being bleeped, this would have been a rated R movie.
Yeah, right. Totally.
They never would have allowed all that language in a PG-13.
Or would have had made up swear words.
Right. Yeah, rassa frassa.
So right after his tirade, the camera kind of pans to like a very astonished, I think it's Fuzzy Zeller.
No,
that
it's Lee Trevino.
Lee Trevino. Okay. I was like, it's one of those
He shows
guys.
up, several times in the movie. Yeah.
So it's kind of funny that it keeps going back.
Do you remember
to
Lee Trevino? Because he was always in the La Victoria salsa commercials back in the 80s. That was him. Yeah.
Okay. As in Victoria Venet.
Virginia, but yeah. It's one of those. There's just there's a bunch of stuff that happens with Happy and trying to, kind of keep his temper under control, and when he actually does well or he does whatever, and there's a point where he sinks a great putt and then starts riding his golf club around, as if it were like a hobby horse. And I love Kevin Nealon's character goes doing the bull dance, feeling the flow, working it. Like it's just so good. And doing the bull dance, feeling the flow is absolutely something that I've repeated numerous times in my life. Anytime it gets remotely like somebody's celebrating something.
Oh yeah.
That's
a good one.
A good one to pop out is doing the bull dance, feeling the flow.
Very nice. So in this tournament, and the reason obviously he's doing all this is he's trying to raise money to keep his grandmother's house.
Right.
And he's told before the tournament by Virginia that, the winner of this tournament makes, X $100,000. He's like, well, what do you make if you get dead last? She's like, $2,500.
Right.
He's like, great.
It's awesome.
So, it's showing his progress through the tournament and mostly a struggle. And he ends up dead last in this tournament.
Yeah, and so it's at the end of the tournament, and Shooter is being feted by the media. He won. He's got the big check for $216,000 or whatever it is. And Happy's like, hey, where's my check? And the guy is like, oh, we don't have them here. We'll mail them out next week. No, I need it now. That guy got a check. Yeah, I mean one of those big ones. I don't care. And it's like, I don't think you can take those to a bank.
No.
And actually deposit them, but that's okay. He got, he gets his $2,400 or whatever it is check. And
I want to see him endorsing the back of those checks where he has to sign his name super big.
Use one of those huge Sharpies with a big flat tip to it,
and then Shooter's being asked. So this is where Shooter's getting continually upset about Happy because he won this tournament, right? He's the hot shit in the golf world. He's the best golfer out there. And he's being asked, did you see what Happy Gilmore? He got a hole-in-one on a par 4.
Quite a long ball.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he's like, where'd he finish? Dead last? Like, he's so annoyed at being asked these questions.
I didn't get a chance to watch him. I was too busy winning.
Yeah. And saying something like that where it's like, nobody will like you more after you say something like that. And he just doesn't have these instincts. Like, when someone gets in his head, he starts losing it.
Yeah.
So Shooter's pissed, and he wants Happy off the tour because Happy has been fighting and throwing shit around and swearing. They're like, this is inappropriate behavior for us.
Yeah. And so we cut to later that evening, I guess, right? And it's whatever hotel all the golfers are staying at, it's the bar, right? Is that where we're at? And and Shooter's there already. He's having a drink. Happy walks in. He looks to get a beer, and Shooter's like, "Oh, put that on my tab." And he's like, "Oh, it was quite a display out there. You could probably make a very good living those long ball tournaments, or maybe going around, to different golf clubs and hustling people for long drives." And Happy, great delivery from him. So he goes, "I know what you're doing right now, and I don't like it.
And they're going at each other, and he ends up like smashing the beer bottle on the bar.
Right. He's like, yo, kid, now I'm going to kick your ass.
You want to go?
I'd like to see you try. And so he's like, okay. And he smashes the bottle. Another great line, too, because then Virginia shows up like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm looking for the other half of this bottle. Oh, there's some
of it right there.
Some of it's there. You should put that down. Yeah, I know. Like,
yes.
But yeah, but this is clearly we're just ramping up the, rivalry between Shooter and Happy.
Yeah.
And it's important for us to not just recognize that, like, look, Happy's just there to earn money. Happy does not give a crap if he wins tournaments or if he does well in the thing. He does not care about any of that. He just wants to win as much money as he can to save his grandma's house. And so really Shooter is kind of like inventing this rivalry where it does not exist. Like he really could just ignore Happy and go on winning tournaments.
He's not trying to get any of this attention that he's getting either.
No, totally.
He's just being himself.
Exactly.
He's just being a normal guy.
Yep.
And Virginia tells him, she's like, look, you could stay on the tour. I advocated for you, but no more swearing, no more fighting. You keep your shit together.
Yeah.
So then we're shown the next tournament.
Yep.
And I think Gilmore is up to hit, and somebody in the crowd calls out to him and recognizes
Mr. Gilmore. Yeah, it's our buddy,
Turns
Mr.
around.
Larson.
Mr. Larson, our 7'2" the boss, who now has a nail just in his head, not
so
in his helmet.
For a moment, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
We saw at the beginning in the little flashback sequence from the beginning that he took the nail gun shot through the hard hat. So I guess you could cut the heart with the right kind of tools. You could cut the hard hat off the head to leave the nail, I guess, because he says the nail comes out next week, which is like funny. I don't know how long it's been, but we saw that sequence with the construction thing like in a flashback sequence. So it had been some amount of time, and he'd obviously recovered from the hospitalization he was put into by Mr. Larson beating his ass over it. And yet here we are potentially months or more later, and that nail is still in his
there.
head. And so
he's just living that Phineas Gage lifestyle.
But he has forgiven Happy. He is A-okay, and he's here to cheer him on, which is super. So basically, in so many ways, Mr. Larson is the biggest person in this movie.
It's true.
He's the bigger person in every way.
And he's being cool, and he is happy for him, and it's one of those like, oh, he's actually a pretty nice guy, like type thing. And then he's got a rowdy crowd there. He's got they make I think the announcers say that it's a very economically diverse crowd or something, which I think is really funny.
I want to mention too, I love when sports movies do this. They got a real golf, Vern Lundquist, right, is a real golf announcer playing himself, and I love when that happens with like like somebody like Tom Brenneman or Bob Costas or whoever it might be. I love when they involve real announcers or anchors or whoever for that sport in a sports movie.
It makes it work so much better.
It makes it feel like it's really going on. So hearing Vern Lundquist's voice, because I definitely at that time, I was never a huge golf fan, but in the 90s, I would watch the Masters, I would watch the US Open. I would just watch some of these stuff on the weekends or whatever when during golf season, which is most of the year, frankly. And you'd hear Vern Lundquist all the time. That was like the standard. He was kind of the voice of golf at the time. So it was really cool to have him in this movie playing himself and doing stuff like, who the hell is Happy Gilmore? Like,
it hits a lot harder when it's like a real anchor saying stuff like that. And then Sandler learned this later by just putting Dan Patrick in all of his movies.
That's right.
So he's out there. He's got his rowdy crowd. They got cut off jeans. He's signing racks. He's like, he's having a good old time. Yeah. And he ends up hitting the ball into the pond at one point, and it looks like it goes into an alligator, just chomps down on it, basically.
Oh, boy.
And Happy, because he's a hockey player, he dives in right after it.
Well, it's first he notices, right, the alligator's missing an eye.
Oh, that's right. He sees that before he jumps in.
Took the eye from the gator. I think we mentioned that actually earlier, but when he tells Happy how he lost his hand, the gator bit it off, but I took that bastard's eye, and he's carrying it around with him. And so he realizes, oh, this is the gator that took Chubbs' hand. Yeah. So he kills the gator, basically. He like chokes it to death, I guess. Is sort of what happens.
He elbows it right squarely on the top of the head. Good goofy Sandler stuff, though.
Wonderful. He's beating up a clearly rubber alligator.
Yeah. So he ends up killing the gator. And now we're kind of taken to advance the romance of this film here.
Exactly.
And he takes Virginia on a date.
Yeah.
to the skating rink.
To the hockey rink,
And they have the whole thing to themselves.
which apparently they're back in Waterbury, I guess, because
Yeah.
he knows the Zamboni driver, because he gets there and it's like, hey pal, can we have the ice, whatever, and he's like, for Happy Gilmore, anything. It's like, why does this guy owe Happy, like, why does he even,
Yeah.
I don't know, we don't know any of the backstory with the guy. But the song "Endless Love" begins to play.
Yes.
and Virginia looks at him and is like, I thought I didn't. This is a date. I thought that we were just here as friends. He goes, "What? Friends listen to Endless Love in the dark."
I love that. Real quick on ice skating. So Happy Gilmore never figured out how to ice skate, and it seems like over the years you can kind of learn it. You can learn other stuff.
My
There's
son
little
learned how
kids-
to ice skate in 6 months. Yeah.
So we went at Thanksgiving. We were in Tahoe, and there's one of those like temporary
nice.
ice rinks outside.
Yeah.
My niece, who is 4 years old, went out ice skating for the first time, and she normally, it's hard to get her to do stuff because she's 4 years old,
Yeah.
but she was excited.
Yeah.
And we get her skates on her and everything, and she does not want to skate, but they have these things you sit on that the parents push.
Oh, okay.
So it looks like a whale, and they sit on it, and there's handles on the back, so you can skate and push your kid around and stuff.
Okay.
And she had a blast.
Nice.
My brother said a couple weeks later, there was an older kid talking to her about ice skating, and they were like, "Oh, I've never been ice skating before." And my niece says, "Oh, it's easy. You just sit on a whale."
Nice.
So little ice skating interjection.
Cool.
Okay, so Happy and Virginia on their date here, listening to Endless Love in the dark.
and I love too, we get a clip because they do kiss. Actually, no, that's right. He bets her, here, you make one shot. If you miss, you have to kiss me or whatever. And she hits it.
And he says, talk about your all-time backfires.
Yeah. But she very, very sweetly says that she didn't see it go in because she wanted to kiss him. So they do kiss. And at which point it's got in the background, it's the two of them skating, kissing, and the Zamboni drivers in the foreground of the shot lip syncing to Endless Love.
Like both parts of
both parts of the duet, and with so much verve,
It's
and just like he does it so passionately. It's one of my favorite moments of him.
That's like a Sandlerism, is just
Yes.
having a weirdo character
Yep.
do something like that.
Absolutely.
And it's just so
Yeah,
fun.
like it's sort of like Steve Buscemi putting the lipstick on when he's got
Yes.
the kill list and Billy Madison.
Dude, that's
Like,
a
yeah.
perfect example.
Exactly.
Yes. So now he's on to the next tournament, which is
Right.
a pro-am, where he's being matched up with,
Yes.
or not a
Yeah.
pro-am.
Yep,
It is
pro-am.
called a
That's-
pro-am.
yep.
Where he's being matched up with a celebrity, and he's matched up with the great Bob
The
Barker.
great Bob Barker, the late great Bob Barker now,
Yep.
but yes, absolutely. And to mention at the beginning of the episode that there will be a fight later that won an award between these two. I mean, this is an important scene.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
This movie, also important because for the first time, Happy's getting heckled. An SCTV alum and guy who's been in 100 movies during this era as a small part, Joe Flaherty,
The dad from Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
one of the great. He's
just
been in a million things. So
things,
good.
exactly. He's been in, and again, and almost anything that included anybody who had anything to do with SCTV. So like anything, Harold Ramis was involved in, or Rick Moranis was involved in, or John Candy was involved in. They all, it's like you ended up having Joe Flaherty in somewhere, right? I mean, it was sort of like he was maybe the. He's sort of like when Sandler puts all his friends in. This guy was in everything. But he's basically just like, he's talking through the backswing, calling him jackass and all this stuff. And here's the thing. I know that in the world of this movie, Happy has attracted a very an audience new to golf, right?
Yeah.
And they have these quiet please placards they raise up in the sky, but he keeps saying when he goes to golf, he wants people to cheer and stuff. So he amps up the crowd. I get all that, but if this guy was just yelling in his backswing and calling him jackass, he would have been removed.
Yeah, for sure.
There's just absolutely no reason that they would have just allowed him to continue to do that. So
Right.
the whole premise of the sequence is a little weak in that, Barker continues to get mad at Happy Gilmore screwing up, but Happy's only screwing up because Joe Flaherty keeps yelling jackass at him, and it's like shitty. I'll also mention the other problem with this scene, in my opinion, is that they say this is in San Francisco. Now, there is a golf course. The Olympic Club has hosted the U.S. Open. It's a major golf course in San Francisco. But, there's nowhere anywhere near San Francisco that looks anything like this. It was shot in Vancouver.
I thought it was like, right. But I almost thought it was like, we're calling Carmel San Francisco because we don't.
If it was
you know what I'm
clearly
saying?
an ocean beyond them and not like a lake with mountains beyond
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
you could have pulled off Pebble Beach kind of concept. But no, they just said San Francisco, and then it's like, I don't care. You might not even have been to San Francisco. You can tell this doesn't look. This clearly isn't the ocean. I think it's not on the coast. It's like some lake somewhere.
It didn't make that much sense. And then the fact that Happy has a car, that beater car, which is full of the giant checks from the tournaments, which leads you to believe he's driving himself across the country. That's the Goodwill Hunting car going from Connecticut to San Francisco to drive to the tournament and back and all this stuff.
It's crazy. Yeah.
So him and Bob Barker, he's screwing up. Bob Barker's getting mad. One other thing I wanted to point out, this like media storm around him, we're now maybe, I don't know, a month or two into his golf career.
Yeah.
No sponsorships yet.
Yeah, no, nothing. Nobody's reached out to him.
On.
Yeah.
Like that's unrealistic. He'd definitely have like a blueshoe.com. He'd be one of those guys, you know.
Yes, exactly. You got to figure Larry Flint was reaching out to him, be like, "This is my kind of guy."
You know it.
just advertise Hustler for me. Like, put it on a hat.
So him and Bob Barker. Bob Barker's finally had it.
Oh,
and Happy's had it with Bob Barker talking shit to him, and they have an excellent fight scene.
Right, and which spawns the famous line, "The price is wrong, bitch."
Yeah.
Like, I do love too that Happy at the beginning mistakes Bob Barker for the host of Let's Make a Deal. I think.
Yes,
he's like, "It's actually The Price is Right, Happy." But yeah, so they fight, and Bob Barker beats Happy's ass, like ends up headbutting him in the face.
Yeah.
And, like, Happy loses that
He's
fight.
really
Like,
funny in that scene.
Bob Barker's
he does a
hilarious in
great
that scene.
job.
Absolutely.
So knowing that Bob Barker has passed,
yes,
in the sequel, are we going to get a fight with Drew Carey?
Are
we going to get a fight with some other like game show host?
I'm kind of hoping for like, who would be a fun one? Because
or if it's like a female,
it's got to be
that
Howie
beats him
Mandel.
up.
It's got to be Howie Mandel. Give me Howie Mandel from Deal or No Deal. I want that. I want that battle.
And then he has two fake Chubbs hands because he's afraid to touch anything in real life. So it's Howie Mandel with like 5 foot long arms.
I don't know how that man has as two very, very bald men. I have no idea how Howie Mandel has no stubble on his head whatsoever. He must have had like laser hair like removal all over his scalp because that dude is the smoothest. That's smoother than Kojak.
He just gets dipped like a Maker's Mark bottle and like somehow gets a coating that his hair doesn't grow.
Oh my God.
So that's it. Like the tournament, they're pissed off.
Yeah.
Like Happy just got in a fight with this old
Bob
man
Barker,
who's like a big star and
huge
everything.
celebrity.
And they have a meeting to talk about him getting kicked off the tour. And I just want to point out that Happy shows up in like the exact Bill Belichick sweatshirt to that meeting.
Why is Shooter there? Why would Shooter be in attendance at Happy's disciplinary hearing or whatever that was? Right? It makes sense that Virginia's there because she's PR. So like, she's going to have to like draft a statement or whatever about Happy getting kicked off.
Yeah.
And then obviously I can't remember the name, Doug, that's his name, right? The president of the tour, like he's doing the disciplining. There is no reason Shooter should be there.
No.
But basically Shooter's hoping they're going to kick him off completely. What they end up doing is they fine him $25,000, which sucks. He's trying to build up this money, right? And then suspend him for a month. And both Happy and Shooter are totally pissed off at this because Happy's like, I got to keep earning money from my grandma's house. And Shooter's like, you got to kick him off.
Yeah.
But that's when Doug recognizes or points out, our ratings are higher than they've ever been. We're attracting youthful sponsors, whatever. And this is when I want to mention golf really was hurting for that kind of thing at the time this movie came out. But just 6 months after this movie was released, Tiger Woods would make his professional PGA Tour debut in Milwaukee.
Wow.
And from that point on, changed the face of golf basically as we know it, right? So very interesting that this movie comes out and then less than half a year later, golf does get the kind of complete facelift and youthful movement that it was looking for when a 20-year-old Tiger Woods really hits the scene.
Yeah.
So very cool that happened so close. But basically the upshot of it is Happy's suspended. He's not going to be able to play in any more tournaments for a month.
Yep.
And he's
out
have
some
enough
cash.
money. Yeah.
But Virginia, very smart, realizes
PR lady,
like
marketing lady.
We need to find a company that doesn't have a problem with problematic spokespeople.
Oh God, dude! Did not expect the Jared Fogle reference.
He ends up on a Subway commercial. So when they're first talking about it, he's like, "Oh man, my life sucks. All I have in my life is this delicious foot-long meat, cheese, what?" And then it cuts to him in the Subway commercial, which is it's a perfect way, and I think realistic. I think he would have got a sponsorship way earlier, but I think that's like a realistic way to kind of like resolve this issue of him being suspended and fined.
And it's the right like level of sponsorship, right?
Yeah.
Subway's a national chain, but they're not like McDonald's or anything like that. They're not huge, so it kind of makes sense. I want to stop for just a second. Did you eat a lot of Subway in the 90s? Like, was that a thing for you or not?
Here and there, yeah. Like late 90s when I worked at, it was across the street from work. So
there was one real near our high school. There
Yep.
was one in the next little strip mall over from our high school, and I went a lot. I loved Subway, and I watching this movie, I was so nostalgic for the triangle cut out of the bread.
Yes.
Right? They used to do that thing where they would cut the like little top off, pull it off, put all the meat in, and put the bread back on. Now they, for the last 20 years probably they've just
cut it
sliced it in
open.
half, like whatever. But there was that, and I even remember like in high school at this time, my Subway order was a foot-long cold cut combo with mayo, olives, lettuce, salt, and pepper, and that was it. That was what I would get every time. It never failed. It was perfect, and it had that little triangle cut bread. And it's like, oh man, if you loved Subway in the 90s, that way to cut the bread was such a huge part of it. It was, yeah.
It's like they figured out how kids like their grilled cheese to be cut diagonally and applied it to adults. They nailed
perfect.
it. So he has this sponsorship, and now he thinks like, okay, now I have $270,000. This is great.
We got enough money.
Grandma's house is being auctioned off. Let's go.
Well, no, he doesn't. No, he thinks they can just go and give the money.
He
and
thinks that they're that's a done deal.
They're just going to pay it and have the house.
But they arrive and they're like, what are all these people doing here? And the IRS guy who's played by Triumph the Insult, Robert Smigel.
That's right. That's Smigel. Yeah.
He's like, oh, we're actually having an auction. So yeah, you definitely have an opportunity to buy your house. He's
it's very exciting.
And he's like, okay, well then maybe this is good. Maybe we'll get it for less than this, and it'll help out. And immediately the bidding gets up into the 300,000,
out of hand real fast.
And someone wins for 350,000, and it's Shooter.
Fucking Shooter.
And he turns around, and I love that he says, real estate speculation's always been a hobby of mine.
Well, but he immediately offers the house to Happy. He says, just quit the tour. You can have the house. I'll give it to you. Just quit the tour. And this is the thing. The movie should be over right now.
Yeah.
It should be over right now because because basically Virginia convinces Happy to not take that deal off the bat. Because she says something like, "Don't you think your grandma wants to see her grandson succeed?" And I'm thinking to myself,
from her house,
no, she wants the house.
Yeah,
I'm sure she wants to have her home back.
Yeah,
Virginia. Like, what are you thinking here? But for whatever reason, Happy agrees and basically says to Shooter, like, "Hey, look, we got one more tournament, it's the tour championship. That's it. If I beat you, I get the house, and like I don't know what else, whatever. But if you beat me, you get the house. Whatever. It was like it's like dumb, but whatever. Fact of the matter is, now the tour championship winner, is who gets the house. Is basically what we're adding stakes. Before Happy can go do this last tournament, he realizes he needs some help with his game, right?
Yep.
So he goes back to Chubbs.
Yeah. Real quick. Shooter does make the comment.
Oh God, that's right.
I eat little pieces of shit like you for breakfast. Is like, you eat pieces of shit for breakfast, which I love that. It's such a dumb thing.
Here's the thing. That's not even the funniest part of that sequence because, again, Christopher McDonald, you should like him more than you do because when he turns back around and the way he goes, no.
Yeah.
Like, it's like the most perfect delivery of a single word like ever. It's so good.
And it stuck so well that it this is mentioned in Jesus Walks. Y'all eat pieces of shit. What's the basis? Like it really made it here.
It's a classic. It's an unforgettable line.
So Chubbs, he needs some practice on his game, and he's got to hook up with Chubbs again.
Right, and the putting is like always been the worst part. Obviously, he can get on any green in one shot. Basically, he doesn't need a short game. He doesn't need a wedge game. He doesn't need chipping. He just needs to get on the green with his first shot and then putt. So Chubbs takes him to Happy Land, a mini golf course that is diabolical. Like, these are the absolute most insane mini golf little holes I've ever seen in my life.
It's like if they made a video game that was like hell mini golf, like the hardest possible.
These are basically, most of these are physically impossible. There's like there's a clown that he beats up at one point that just like clearly the teeth are like motion activated, so as the ball approaches,
totally,
it just goes out, and then when it does go in, it spits the ball back out. Like, how's that? How are you ever supposed? No, doesn't work like that. You're gonna die, clown. So they're at the thing. I love Lee Trevino shows back up. He is also practicing his putting at Happy Land, which is great because Lee Trevino is wonderful. But they go to this like thing where he tells Chubbs is like, you can't get angry, right? Golf is all about being mellow. You got to find your happy place. Go to your happy place. Just concentrate. So he kind of daydreams for a minute before like the most difficult sort of mini golf hole, and he sees Virginia, and she's wearing lingerie and carrying 2 pitchers of beer on like a chaise lounge, and then grandma is, wearing very nice clothes and like doing a slot machine and winning a ton of change, whatever. Then for some reason, there's a little person with a hobby horse wearing, chaps and spanking his butt,
tipping his hat and walking around.
Very strange, but that's okay. And so he finds his happy place and makes the crazy putt. And then they go back to Happy's apartment.
Yes, they have gifts.
And they do have gifts for each other. And so Chubbs
gives Happy the least regulation putter that I've ever seen in my life.
Right.
He gives him a putter that looks like a hockey stick.
Yeah, he claims it's his putter he used to use, but modified.
Okay.
How? What? Like, so I guess just the shaft
He
part,
took it to a blacksmith. What do you do?
Right? But yeah, so it's got the big wide, I don't know how regulation stuff works, but it's got the big wide, hockey stick blade to it. But it's obviously going to make Happy a little more comfortable trying to putt with this thing, which, maybe, Chubbs, in your next life, bring that out before the practice round so that he could practice with the fancy putter, right? Instead of a mini golf putter. But then Happy has a gift for Chubbs too, which is in a wicker basket or something, like with a blanket over it, as if he's been using it like either a footstool or a coffee table. Yeah. But inside is the head of the alligator that he killed that got Chubbs's hand.
You know that alligator that got your hand? Well, I got his head, and he reveals it. And Chubbs obviously is
terrified, freaks out,
backs out, and falls out the window.
Yeah, and can we talk for a second about the fact that window is definitely not up to code? Like, why would you have the sill of that window be just 6 inches off the ground? Like, that's asking to get tripped out of.
That's a defenestration risk for sure.
I think we should probably, maybe after this, if we're done recording, I'm going to go back and watch the beginning and see if in the scene where the old lady is making breakfast, if that window is visible anywhere on set.
Okay.
Because I can't imagine that's actually there anymore.
Yeah, that's not a safe window. It's like halfway between a sliding door and a window. But it does allow Chubbs to fall out the window. And then again, an immediate cut to the guy being dead. Like just his picture with the flowers and stuff. And
the hand.
Yes.
His wooden hand is like on a pedestal
the
in
hand
front of
is on there.
The casket or whatever. Yeah.
And Shooter McGavin, because this is all kind of set up at the site of the tournament.
Right.
And Shooter tells Happy, he's like, I think I'm going to play in honor of Chubb. Just to
dedicate my
poke at him.
play today to Chubb's memory. Hey, I'm playing for Chubbs.
Yeah.
No, I called it first. Like,
and I forget what brought this up, but where Shooter says, and Grizzly Adams had a beard. And then Lee Trevino, Grizzly Adams did have a beard.
Because the joke, the way you use that phrase, right, is like, well, did Grizzly Adams, it's like, does the Pope wear a hat? Like, it's like, does Grizzly Adams have a beard? Yes, of course he does. That's why he's called Grizzly Adams. Anyway.
We basically now are coming into our final tournament. We've got Shooter and we've got Happy.
Yeah.
And they're paired up
together at the beginning, which is odd. Like, it makes sense that they're paired up for rounds 2, 3, and 4 because you do that by ranking, but to have them paired up at the beginning initially doesn't make any sense, because especially for the tour championship, that should be based on like world ranking at the time. And there's no way Shooter should be number 1. We're getting no reason to think he's not. There's no way Happy's the second.
No, we're close.
Well, he's missed a month. He hasn't played in a month because of suspension. So it's weird that they're paired up, but whatever, we're going to let that go. It does make sense as they move on, though. The fact that the two of them are the leaders in the tournament, they would be paired in future rounds.
Right.
But yeah, so
we have kind of a montage here.
Yeah.
And this I thought was kind of also funny to point out. We have a Subway spokesperson in Subway logo gear participating in a montage as Gary Glitter's Rock and Roll Part 2 plays.
Boy.
So this is a double whoopsie daisy. In hindsight,
man, all you needed was to have a TV on in the background with a Jell-O pudding pop commercial.
Seriously.
The trifecta of horrificness. Okay.
So we have some back and forth here, and Shooter has once again paid the jackass. Paid this guy again. And I like this guy's suggestion to Shooter. Like, Shooter, you want to hang out? You want to go to Red Lobster?
You want to go to the Sizzler? Sizzler nearby.
I love these things that he's suggesting.
Shooter, I thought we were going to be friends.
And he comes in and he drives a Volkswagen Bug onto the course and hits Happy Gilmore with his car.
Yeah.
And Happy's like definitely shaken up, definitely messy. And it goes crashing into this like
TV camera tower
thing. Yeah. And then they just leave it there, and that's like, all right, well, here we are.
Nobody does it. They take the play it where it lies a little too seriously, I think, on that case. They probably should have tried to repair that tower or take it down or something. And the fact that Happy is given, the doctor comes over and is like, okay, well, just stay off your feet for a couple days. And he's like, no, I got to play. What do I know? I'm just a doctor.
Yeah, I love that.
And how do you get a car onto the course? Like that can't be easy. you know, and to it's just, you know, it's one of those, you know, movie magic. But like,
plus they have a 90-degree rule, and he wouldn't have been able to be allowed to drive it.
it's just strange that that would even happen. But
his shoulder's messed up, right? So he's kind of
exactly.
lost his powers. He is Teen Wolf, who's been turned back into Michael J. Fox. He is, you know, every one of these things. Rocky, where he has to fight left-handed.
Rookie of the year, when the kid can't throw the fast pitch anymore.
He has to go straight ephus for every pitch.
Exactly.
But yeah, so now our hero has lost his powers
Yeah.
in addition to already kind of being an underdog, and he's gotta figure out what's going on, and he's kind of losing it. And you know, Grandma is there for support.
Right. Which why hasn't she been at every one of the
presented
tournaments?
to him for a second?
Well, it's just like it's clear the thing. Like, hey, look who showed up! It's Grandma. It's like why?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess anything nearby she should have been going to, right?
Like,
I mean,
he would have hotel and stuff paid for him. I mean, he could bring her around
You'd
everywhere
think.
if he wanted to.
Yeah, very strange.
But she's not allowed to talk about how bad the retirement home is. So he
Right.
thinks that she's living it up and
That's
having
true.
a great time.
Yeah, Hal would kill her.
But Grandma just says, "Yeah, I just want you to be happy."
Right.
Like, and then he's like, "Great, you know."
Good news. That's his name.
Yeah. And there's this one random crowd member, and I don't know why this line is kept in or if it was some kind of a cameo, but there's a guy who says, "Happy, the gold jacket's yours. Shooter's gonna choke." And it's just the most poorly delivered line I've ever seen. I don't know why it's in there, unless it's like Alan Covert's friend.
You're right. We've talked in last week's episode. We talked a little bit about actors making choices versus just sort of saying words.
Yeah.
That was a man just saying
terrible,
words. There was no
right?
choice being made there. That was not good acting. Shooter's gonna choke. Gold jackets, yo, happy. Like, it's just very strange. Yeah, so that there may be some good reason that person's there that neither of us are aware of.
Yeah.
I will accept that as a possibility. But yeah, so we're getting through to close to the end of the tournament, to I think the final hole. They're actually tied, I believe. And so Happy tees off first and gets all the way to the green.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. So now Shooter's got to go, but Shooter ends up shanking the ball and kind of getting out into the rough. And where the ball actually lands is on the foot of Mr. Larson.
Yes.
He's back, and he has a wonderful shirt on that says, "Guns don't kill people, I kill people."
Great.
And so he's got to play the ball off of the foot, which again, now I get the idea that you play it where it lies, but I have to feel like this is some kind of interference where they would have at least just told the man, just move your foot, and wherever the ball drops, he'll have to play from there, but you just move your foot, sir.
Right.
But no, he has to hit it off of his foot. And he does it in a way that clearly, to Shooter's credit, doesn't hit Mr. Larson's foot. He clearly doesn't hurt him. He's able to do it. And so he, like, 3 putts or whatever. It's like, basically he gets to the point where he took 4 shots to get into the hole. So as long as Happy does in 2 more or less, because he's already on the green, he'll be fine. But as Happy walks up, ready to take his putt, the TV tower that 2 guys are now trying to climb in order to get a better view of things, that was hit by Joe Flaherty's character earlier, falls down.
Yeah.
And right in between where Happy's ball is and where the cup is. So now it's like, what's he supposed to do? And so Virginia runs over and is like, "Oh, look, we'll get this cleaned up. You'll finish tomorrow. Like, don't worry about it." And Shooter's like, No. I had to hit the ball off of Frankenstein's fat foot over there. He's got to play it where it lies. And Doug, the president of the tour, agrees with him, which is like, of all the like dumb golf decision, I don't know. This would never happen more than all the other stuff that would never happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, this is so egregiously like, no, like you clear the damn green and then you let them play the game. Like, it's so silly. But luckily he had that crazy mini golf experience with Chubbs, and there was
everything
like a lot of
turned
things.
into the exact last hole of the
So
mini
he
golf,
kind of
basically.
looks and goes, "Oh, I could go there." He kind of looks around and he goes, "No, I'll just beat him now." Which is a great line as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he ends up hitting the ball. It like bounces off the hood of the car and then up onto like the part of the TV tower and rolls down. I love it. Normally it's in movies when people are watching tennis matches where the audience is looking left to right, to left to right, but they do that as they're watching the ball go down. And of course, the last pipe or whatever the ball goes to is aimed right at the cup, and there it goes. And so he gets it in one and wins.
Really
and
good.
Won, yeah.
Oh, and so he wins, and Grandma's gonna get her house, and Happy, is gonna win the jacket.
Yeah, he's got his gold jacket.
But Shooter
He's
is
not having
like,
it.
"That's my jacket. I'm taking it." So he grabs it and runs away.
So
Mr. Larson says, "I believe that's Mr. Gilmore's jacket." I don't know if you were paying attention to this, but something that I noticed throughout the movie is Mr. Larson. I mean, that actor, you don't become 7'2" generally without without a lot of like associated health problems,
pituitary issues and things.
Yeah. And he clearly has no mobility. So every time they're showing him supposed to do something, he's like discreetly leaning on something. And then even the running, it's just him doing this.
He
like
wasn't
probably
moving
being
his
pulled
legs
on a cart or something.
I think even just they were moving the camera towards him as he just like moved his arms. Like it was that. Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, it was kind of sad to be like, oh man, I mean, this guy probably couldn't beat up Shooter McGavin in real life.
Right, because they went and had him yelling after him while they're showing a crowd running after Shooter, but then you hear Shooter off screen getting beat up ostensibly by Mr. Larson, who we haven't even seen run by. So it's like, but apparently he got to him somehow.
Because he's not running with the crowd. His running scene is fully independent.
Exactly. So
it's just interesting noticing stuff like that where you have like a limited guy, but really funny. And he said something earlier about, if Happy gets it in this many putts, like he's going to win. And Shooter's like, oh, great, you can count. He's like, and you can count on me to meet you in the parking lot after the tournament. Oh, so funny. So Happy wins, and then that's it. We're kind of like Tuesday's gone.
Right, exactly. We go back to Leonard Skinner, and there is a funny thing. I'll say this about Julie Bowen at the end and Virginia Bennett at the end of this movie. They all get out of the car. It's the caddy and Grandma and Happy and Virginia all get out of the car at Grandma's house or going back to Grandma's house. He's got like champagne or something, right?
Right.
What Julie Bowen is wearing in this scene to me looks like a nightgown or lingerie, or she does not look like an outdoor daytime outfit. It's very silky and very short, and it's like, what a weird costume choice to have her wear this at this point. But like, whatever, it's all good. She looks great in it, obviously. But yeah, so that's it. They
look into the heavens above the house, and it's Chubbs and the alligator and Abraham Lincoln.
Which I always in my headcanon was just that was a Return of the Jedi reference, right? To see Obi-Wan and Yoda at the end. I feel like that's sort of the reference he was making. I don't know that for sure, but that's in my head. But yeah, that's it. We finished the movie with the same song we started it with. Great bookends of Tuesday's Gone, and that's Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
So,
really good.
Very cool.
Very fun. Should I wait? Who's reviewing first? Me
you go
or
for it.
Okay. So yeah, again, always like this one. A couple things to bring up. The music in this film by Mark Mothersbaugh of Devo, right? I didn't notice too much about the music in the movie because when I saw that name, I was like, oh, that's interesting. That's notable. And like, that didn't come up too much. And then Julie Bowen, I talked to you about earlier, is like one of the best comedic actresses we have, I think.
It's fantastic.
Claire Dunphy in Modern Family she's so funny. And it's not like it's just well written. Like, she is great. Yeah. She is excellent. And she has nothing to do in this movie. No. She is strictly just, she might as well be saying, Happy, the cold jacket's yours. You're just going to choke. Like,
yeah, I mean, the movie needed a love interest.
I wish they had more for her. Yeah. And I like her, and I'm glad things worked out for her later. But man, this was so much fun. The jokes were very good.
Yes.
Just so much good Sandler stuff and a lot of cameos that were excellent. The sports action looked good.
Yeah.
I'm giving this a 4 out of 5. I still really, really enjoyed it. And what'd you think of this one?
Yeah, it's funny. I don't think I liked it as much as I remember liking it. Like, it was definitely a situation where I don't know that all the jokes hold up for me. It was a ton of fun. I totally enjoyed the movie, don't get me wrong, but it was like definitely parts of it where when I kind of looked back, and I'm trying to be a little intellectually consistent with the different ratings that we're giving the films that we're watching. I actually looked back and went,
I'm afraid to do that.
Yeah. So I went back and I looked like, what did I give other movies for this or whatever? And I felt in some ways, not that I felt the movies were the same, but I felt very similar to our first film we talked about, Groundhog Day, where it was like, this is still a really good movie, but I remembered liking it better than I liked it watching it.
Yeah.
And so similarly to Groundhog Day, I'm giving it a 3.5 out of 5. And it's still a very good movie. I'm not trying to downplay it, but Happy Gilmore gets a 3.5 for me. It was still fun, but it just like, I remember it being this sort of like tour de force that it didn't quite live up to in my head. And I think maybe part of it was, Julie Bowen is woefully underutilized. Christopher McDonald tries to make up for that as much as he can because he's funnier than Adam Sandler in this movie, in my opinion. When the first time he meets Mr. Larson and
oh my God.
Mr. Larson is like, are you going to try to hit the green from here, Shooter? He goes, that's not possible, sir. but I beg to differ. Happy Gilmore did that not an hour ago. And he goes, well, and he turns around and he just turns what he was going to say into, oh my God, as he looks. It's just perfect delivery. Love Christopher McDonald. But yeah, I'm a 3.5 on Happy Gilmore. I enjoyed it. I will watch it again. It's still a lot of fun. But yeah, that's where I sit with this one. So I think what makes us a 7.5 out of 10, which
that's
is
about fair.
Very good.
Hey, for a comedy from that age, you know, because comedy tends to not age well.
Yeah,
generally.
that's true.
And then the nature of comedies really changed in kind of the early 2000s when we got hit with like the Apatow wave of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So compared to something like a Wanderlust or I Love You Man,
Right.
like there aren't as many like laugh out loud, like real. But for its time, this was incredible. So yeah, 7.5. That's pretty good.
I like it. Very cool. All right, Nick, this was my pick.
Time,
what are we watching next week?
Okay, well, we've done a couple funny ones in a row, and I think we're going to stay in the zone. Also, something that has a sequel upcoming.
Ooh, okay.
And this is a movie that I think we're going to release the episode for this around when the sequel comes out.
Nice.
We're going back to 1988, I believe.
Okay.
And we've got some people we haven't seen so far. We've got Leslie Nielsen.
Oh, yes.
We've got little known actor named O.J. Simpson. I don't know if we heard of it. He's very funny in this. We got Priscilla Presley. We got a lot of goofy stuff. So many good gags. We're going to watch The Naked Gun.
Perfect.
And we have the sequel coming up. So it'll be exciting to kind of to go through this before we have the new one, which you and I both talked off the pod. Like we're very optimistic about because of the people involved.
Yeah, I think that. So it's very funny when you look at, you know, looking back at this movie. I've seen this movie many times. Love The Naked Gun. Obviously, it was a movie adaptation of the TV series The Police Squad, right? Which is only around for like one season, very short-lived.
Really hard to find.
Yeah.
Only on DVD.
Right. So, but I always love because, you know, Leslie Nielsen, I know he went gray early like Steve Martin, but he looks so old compared to like Priscilla Presley in this movie. And so the Frank Drebin character being so much like the character being so much younger than the actor seemed, they really lean into that in the new version with like a 70-something-year-old Liam Neeson playing the 50-ish maybe character of Frank Drebin's grandson, I believe, or his son. I don't know how. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, in the meantime, before that comes out and we can enjoy that, we will watch Naked Gun, and I'm super excited about that. That's going to be great.
All right.
Very cool. Okay, well, this has been Happy Gilmore, and folks, if you like what you're hearing, go over to Apple, give us a 5-star review. Go to Spotify, give us a 5-star review, and throw us a follow. That'd be fantastic. If you want to send us an email and like, you know, correct us on things that we said wrong, because we always do. We say things wrong every time. You can send us an email at theshow@twodads1movie.com. That's the number 2 and the number 1. This has been Happy Gilmore. This has been 2 Dads 1 Movie. I'm Steve.
And I'm Nick.
Everybody take care and watch Happy Gilmore too.
Enjoy it. Our fingers are very much crossed for this one. We're rooting for it.
All right, take care, everybody. Thanks so much.
Bye.